Hey guys, welcome to day 1 of our Too Strong to Spook 5-day boostcamp challenge. I am so excited that you're here. I'm so excited for the classes that I've designed for us. I think we're going to have a really great time on the mat together this week. Today's pose is a confidence flow, as I mentioned in the email. So I have picked some poses today that are meant to build confidence and courage within the body. I know that sounds a little strange, but what we're really going to do is we're going to open up the chest, we're going to open up our heart, and we're just going to feel really strong and confident when we are done with these poses. So I'm just so excited that you're here, and I want us to get started. So we're going to get started in child's pose. So go ahead and open your knees wide, walk your arms forward, let your belly drop as you reach your tailbone towards your heels. And maybe your forehead is on the mat. Maybe you're super flexible and your whole chest is on the mat. We want to make sure our big toes are touching. And I want to say that there's a good chance that my cats are going to be in the frame. If you got pets or children, you know that they always seem to find you when you're on the yoga mat. So anyways, let's take a couple breaths here. I really want us to set up our intention for today's class and for the week. So take a big inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Now we're going to move into prayer hands here. So go ahead and bring the palms together behind your head, and then we're going to walk our elbows out. The ultimate position in this pose is that the backs of our arms can be on the mat and our chest. As you can see, I'm not that flexible. So we're just going to open up our shoulders a little bit more here and do the best that we can. I want to make sure that your tailbone is still reaching towards your heels, your belly is relaxed, and you're breathing, feeling a really great stretch on the back of those arms. All right, we're going to move into our first down dog. So go ahead and press your arms into the mat, lift the tailbone up, straighten the legs. And if you want to go ahead and walk the dog here, so what that means is you're just going to bend your right knee and then your left knee, or maybe you have more of a bend in your knees for this first down dog. Whatever feels really great for you. For me right now, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not that bendy at this early. So I want you to think about bringing your shoulders away from your ears, soft gaze between your legs, belly drawn in to protect the low back. And we're going to breathe. Big inhale and exhale. All right, so we're going to move into three-legged dog now. So lift your right leg up. And I want you to lift it to a spot that feels comfortably challenged while you keep your hips square to the mat. You don't have to lift it up so high. I want it to be what feels good for you. Still looking at your leg, shoulders still drawn away from your ears. And we're breathing. From here, we're going to move into low lunge. So go ahead and bring that right foot forward as that left knee drops. And I want us to first move into some hip rock. So we're just going to rock back and forth a little bit to open up the hips. Not too much pressure, just a little bit. Now we're going to inhale the arms up by our side and sink into low lunge on the right side. You want to make sure that your pelvic is not sticking back out, but it's tilted underneath you so that your pelvic is underneath your rib cage. Arms are reaching towards the ceiling. There's intention here, right? Arms aren't just up there. There's intention. And you can look up at those hands or you can look straight ahead, whatever feels right for you. Take some breaths here. Now we're going to move back into down dog. Once again, pedal the feet if you want, whatever feels good. This is your practice. I'm just here to lead you. I'm going to inhale that left leg up. for that three-legged dog on this side. Keeping your hips square to the mat, reaching that right heel towards the ground, arms pressed into the mat. Breathing. And now we're going to bring that left leg forward, sweeping it through, bringing that right knee down for the low lunge on the left side, but we're going to start with those hip rocks. So just gently rock forward and back just a little bit for what feels good to you. And we're going to inhale the arms up and sink into low lunge, low crescent. Shoulders drawn away from your ears. Reaching tall with those hands, like I said. Belly drawn in. Now we're going to bring the hands to the mat and step back into down dog. From here, we're going to move into up dog. So we're going to shift our weight forward, flip over to the tops of those toes, tops of the feet, bring our legs to the ground. We want to try to leave our thighs and our hips off the mat as we straighten our arms and press into the mat. We look up at the ceiling, so we have a stretch in our throat and our chest. And we're looking up at that third eye and breathing. And if you can, I really want you to try to keep your hips off the ground, but if you need to, you can go ahead and put your hips on the ground. Awesome job. Let's go ahead and move back into down dog. We'll take just a reset breath here. Big inhale and exhale. Now we're going to lift that right leg again, and we're going to bring it forward for high crescent, where we're just going to take a breath here. So arms up, take a breath, and then we're going to rotate open so that our right foot is parallel with the short end of the mat, and we're going to sink into that front leg. I said that wrong. Our left leg is parallel, and sinking into that front leg, right forearm to right thigh. That left arm comes straight up, or it can come right by your ear, so bicep by your ear. We're making a long line, and we have a rotation on our torso, so our chest is actually kind of aiming up towards the ceiling. Our knee is stacked over our ankle, and we are reaching with that right arm. You can feel a rotation in your thigh and your chest, and you should put a big smile on your face because you're doing this with me today on a Monday, looking so strong and beautiful. Now we're going to move back into high crescent. So rotate that left foot so that it is parallel with the right, both toes pointed towards the front of the mat. Back heels lifted. We're sinking into that front leg, arms by our side. Maybe looking up at our hands. Maybe looking straight out ahead. Maybe think about how awesome what you're doing. Then go ahead and we're going to come in rotation. So bring your hands in a prayer and then out into a T. We're going to slowly rotate those arms over the right leg. And stay here if you want, or if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, we're going to bring our hands into prayer, fold forward, and then hook that left elbow over the right knee for a rotational high crescent. You want to keep your hips square to the mat, your left heel is still off the mat. We just have that rotation in our torso, opening up our chest. You're doing so great. Let's come back up to high crescent. Take an inhale. And exhale your hands towards the mat. Come back into down dog. At this point, you're probably feeling some sensations. You're between the left side and the right side. That's the beauty of yoga, isn't it? Take a breath. Let's reset because we're going to move on to the left side. So left leg up, bring it forward. We're going to come into that high crescent just for a breath. And then we're going to rotate open. Once again, back foot is parallel with the short end of the mat, and we have a nice bend in that front knee. Left forearm to left thigh, right arm comes up. It can be straight up, or you can bring that bicep to your ear. We're making one long line from our fingertips towards our toes. Have that rotation in our heart, in our chest. Maybe looking up at our bicep if we want. We're breathing, smiling, feeling so confident today here on our mat. Now we're going to move back into high crescent. So rotate your hips back to be parallel with the front of the mat. Lift those arms up by your ears. Make sure that tailbone is tucked under, shoulders drawn down and away from the ears. Lifting up on our kneecaps. We never want to lock our knees. And now we're going to move into that rotation. So bring your hands into prayer and then out into a T. And then we're going to slowly rotate over that left leg. If this feels good, stay here or bring your hands into prayer, bend forward, and then hook that right elbow over that left knee. When you're in this rotation, your goal here is to try to have your prayer arms to heart center. Smile, you're doing awesome. All right, bring your hands to the mat, and we're going to step back into down dog. Take a reset breath. Feel so proud of how far you've come today in today's class. Now we're going to move into dolphin. So I want you to come on your forearms, staying in this down dog position. Your biceps should be by your ears, and your gaze is still between your legs. If this is too much, you can go ahead and bend your knees. You can also bring your knees towards the mat, but I prefer if you just bend them and try to get the core activation here. You also can walk your feet in or out and play around with it to see how it feels. This pose is actually a great pose for inversions, for beginning to learn on headstands. So it works your core and your arms. It's sneaky and it opens the shoulders. Take a big inhale and exhale. Just bring those knees to the ground, and we're going to come into tabletop before we move into side plank. So find your position here, and then when you're ready, we're going to extend our left leg straight, bring our left arm up, and stay on this knee if this is where it feels good for you. Or if you want, you can go ahead and extend that bottom leg and come into full side plank with me. You want to make sure that you're squeezing your core, lifting up on those obliques, and that you're reaching tall with that top arm. You want that shoulder stacked over the wrist, and your gaze is either straight out ahead or up at that top arm. You're breathing, you're doing so awesome. You're here with me today. I so much appreciate it. Go ahead and bring that hand down. We'll come to tabletop to reset. Let's take an inhale And an exhale. And now we're going to extend that right leg long, right arm up. Stay here if this is where you need to be. And if you're here, I still want you to still think about pulling up on those obliques, squeezing through the core, getting a good oblique stretch. You're doing so great. I know you are. We're breathing. We're reaching through that top arm. And if you wanted to, just maybe, you're going to think about straightening that bottom leg and coming with me for just a breath in this full plank position. Core is engaged. You're doing awesome. Don't forget to breathe. Go ahead and bring your hand down. We'll come back to that tabletop. You did so great. Okay, so we are going to roll over onto our backs, and we only have a couple more poses in this class. We're going to come into bridge. So go ahead and lie on your backs. Your knees are bent. Your feet are flat on the floor. And we are going to lift our hips up, rotate those shoulders under, squeeze our glutes, squeeze our belly. If you need to put a block underneath your back for some support, that is a great place to put a block. Or maybe you want to put a block between your thighs. If you have two blocks, that would be two great options. If you don't have a block, you could think about squeezing a ball between your legs, just in case you feel like your legs are flaring out. You want them to be squeezed together, the glutes are squeezed together, our core is tight. And we also want to make sure that our chin is not constricting our airways. Let's take one more breath here. Big inhale. And then exhale our hips to the ground. And we're going to bring our hands into scarecrow. So basically that means they're in a goalpost position and the tops of our arms are resting on the mat or the ground. And then from here we're going to do a gentle supine twist. So we're just going to let our legs gently fall over towards the right, keeping them bent and feeling just a nice stretch on our lower back and in our torso. Breathing here. Maybe you want to extend one leg, play around with it and see how it feels, or just keep them both bent. And we're breathing. Awesome work. Let's go ahead and bring our knees back to center. Pause. And then we're going to go ahead and let them slowly fall towards the left to get an even back stretch on both sides of our body. So we're breathing, big inhales and exhales. You're doing so wonderful. We are just about done with this class. You did so great today. Awesome job. Let's bring those knees back to center, and then we're going to move into one of my favorite positions. Bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly, and we're just going to let both those legs fall open like a book. So our knees are falling open like a book. If you have some blocks, this would be a great pose to put blocks underneath your legs for some support. Or if you're like me, your hips are a little tight, maybe you want to bring your hands to on top of your thighs and just put gentle pressure to let them fall open a little bit more. Or you just leave your hands on your belly and your chest and breathe. Like I said, this is one of my favorite positions. I do it almost every one of my classes. Just really, really enjoy this pose. And this pose is going to set us up for Savasana because we are just about done with our first class. Can you believe it? All right, so let's go ahead and straighten those legs. open our palms towards the ceiling and let everything relax. You're going to have a soft gaze down your body. And I want you to stay in this position for 5 to 7 minutes. I'm not gonna record that for that long, so you can pause this, and then push play when you're ready to get back into it. But for right now, let's take some breaths together. Inhale and exhale. And then when you're ready, we're going to roll over onto one side. And it's so important here that you take one breath here. So you can roll to your right or your left side, but I really need you to take one breath here so that when you do sit up, you do not get lightheaded. So I want you to take your breath, and then once you have taken your breath, slowly sit up and come to an easy seated position. Okay, you guys, so I don't normally do this sort of talking, but because we are doing a confidence boost, I thought that I would go ahead and pull a card from the things that I use for my daily meditation and my mindset and my confidence. So today I have pulled a card from my Bar Blend I Am pack, and this card says, I am confident. It says, I believe in myself and my abilities. And I thought this was the perfect card to start our 5-day boost camp because it's all about confident, right? So I am confident. I believe in myself and my abilities. And that's really what I want you guys to walk away from this week is maybe you believe a little bit more in yourself and believe in the awesome abilities that you have to offer, because we're all so unique and we all have such great things to offer in this world. So I really want you to think about that today and this week as we go on. So go ahead and bring your hands into prayer. And we're going to end with just a little bit of a closing. So bring your thumbs to your forehead, kind thoughts, thumbs to your mouth, kind words, and thumbs to your chest, kind heart. Thank you so much for being with me today. I can't wait to see you on the mat tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Namaste. And I will see you again tomorrow.